This week we've taken you to many regions of the North Island that have been suffering in the grips of this dry spell. In Northland yesterday, a drought was indeed declared. We believe it won't be the last area to get such official assistance. Tonight we're in the Waikato, a region whose name roughly translates as flowing water. Dan Parker couldn't find much water there at all.
It's so hot in Pukeatua, you can literally see the heat. The other thing that's just as visible is the stress on the faces of the region's farmers.
The biggest issue is putting food on the table for my cows, and they are like family, if you know what I'm saying. And no one wants to see the kids go hungry, and I don't want to see my cows go hungry, and that's where the stress, you know what I mean? I rear these as calves, milk them for 6 or 7 years, then suddenly you see your baby goes hungry. It's that mental, I don't know if you can understand that mental stress.
Chris Lewis has 1,100 hungry dairy cows to feed, and there hasn't been substantial rainfall to help for months. He's managed to save up enough silage and supplementary feed to last another 3 or so weeks, but if there's no rain and the grass doesn't grow, he'll have an expensive problem on his hands.
1,100 cows, how much does it cost a day to feed them when there's no grass?
At the moment, we're feeding out about 12 tonne of dry matter or supplementary feed. And a lot of that's been made on farm, but other farms, if you had to buy that in, on average at 30 cents a kg of dry matter, it'd be costing me well over $3,000 a day.
At that point, Chris says his operation will be running at a substantial financial loss, something he says many of the region's farmers are already enduring. So with no end to this dry spell in sight, this is turning from a water issue here in the Waikato to an animal welfare issue, because not all farms can afford to bring in expensive feed to compensate for the lack of grass growth.
We know this season it's not going to be very, very profitable, but we're worried about next season's as well, and the effects it has on the cow. At the moment, the cow's 5 months in calf. We've got to grow that calf to be born in August, and if she's not eating properly, she may abort under stress. And also we have other animal health issues as well. No one likes to see hungry cows on the side of the road with a busload of tourists going past. It's not a good look for New Zealand agriculture. So we do our best to make sure our cows are getting well fed, are getting maintained.
The heat has also given rise to one other problem: flies. Thousands of them.
The flies remind me of Australia. This could be Australia.
Chris uses sprinklers to help keep them away and keep his cows cool at milking time. After visiting Chris, we drove down the road to catch up with his mate Nigel Anderson. Unlike many other farmers in the area, he still has some grass in his paddocks.
So people will drive past and see you've got grass in the paddocks, but it's basically dead, isn't it? There's very little nutritional value in this.
Definitely. There is some value there. It is good for beef cows, which I will bring in here. But for the sheep that I'm trying to flush up, there's no real value for them.
Nigel is in a difficult situation. He can't sell his stock to the meatworks because they aren't fat enough, and he doesn't have the grass to get them across the line.
On other years, if we've been short around here, we've been able to sell the stock away to another area, maybe Hawke's Bay or up north, where they may have had good rain, whereas the whole of the North Island has been affected by this drought, and therefore nobody is buying stock.
He says the financial ramifications of this dry spell will be huge for farmers.
Our lambing percentage will be down by at least 20% this year, which means that obviously I'm going to have a lot less lambs to sell next year. So even though the problem is now, this problem is an ongoing problem. It'll go through to next year, and obviously it's going to affect cash flows, budgets for next year as well.
This is a natural disaster in a way, isn't it?
Well, it is really, and it takes a few years for it to get back to where it was again.
Tomorrow, Nigel, Chris and farmers from around the district will meet with Federated farmers and local politicians. They say they won't leave the meeting until a drought is officially declared. The assistance it will provide should help limit some of the stress on farmers here, both mentally and financially.